Good?
And,
Go ahead, sir.
And for Terence, are you ready to feel the Mexican power, Terence?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
Dante's Boxer Nation. What's up, guys? What a wild week it's been. A notorious white supremacist gang member gets taken out, and Terence Crawford makes history, becoming a 3-division undisputed world champion, and now, arguably, the undisputed GOAT of this era. That's what I call a week with a fairy tale ending. Terence Crawford defied every odd and delivered a truly masterful performance. This fight had shades of Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler, those moments where Leonard would stand toe-to-toe with Hagler just to earn his respect. But Crawford took that concept to another level. He stood right in front of Canelo for most of the fight, barely backing up. Every so often, he'd move just enough to frustrate Canelo, then explode forward with a flurry of sharp combinations. That's the brilliance of Crawford. He's always been able to blend strategy, patience, and precision into pure dominance. Crawford has always been known as a master of beating opponents at their own game, and this fight was no different. He didn't just want to prove something to the world, he wanted to prove it directly to Canelo Alvarez, that he could fight on the inside and still dominate. And that's exactly what he did. Every single time they traded shots up close, Crawford came out on top. I kept saying it before the fight, if Crawford earns Canelo's respect, it's over for Canelo. And that's exactly what happened. By the final rounds, it was Canelo who was backing up. You could see moments where he showed little urgency, even though he and his team clearly knew they were behind. His trainer kept shouting for him to push harder. You've got to pick it up. Be more aggressive. But Canelo just couldn't pull the trigger. In those championship rounds, he barely let his hands go. There were even moments where it seemed like he didn't know how to respond, as if Crawford had completely taken the fight and Canelo's confidence away from him. ChatGPT said, "It was almost strange to watch. Canelo was the one trailing on the scorecards, yet he was the one backing away from Crawford. He should have been showing urgency, pressing forward, trying to turn the fight around. But instead, he looked hesitant, cautious. Why? Because he knew that if he opened up too much, he risked getting countered, embarrassed, or even knocked down. So in those final championship rounds, Canelo decided to play it safe. Sure, he was still dangerous and still threw heavy shots, but the difference was clear. Crawford simply outworked him. Every time Canelo threw one punch, Crawford answered with 2 or 3 clean counters. It was a brilliant, disciplined performance from Crawford, and even the broadcast team seemed to recognize it. I don't remember the commentator's name, but I believe he usually works for the UFC. And honestly, he did a better job calling this fight than most of the usual boxing voices, guys like Todd Grisham, Jim Lampley, or Chris Mannix. It's rare to hear a blow-by-blow commentator who's truly neutral, but this guy was. He gave credit where it was due, praising Crawford when he earned it and Canelo when he landed something clean, without pushing any biased narrative or sneaky backhanded compliments. Or like Jim Lampley and Todd Grisham so often do. Overall, what a spectacular performance by Terence Crawford, a truly unforgettable night of boxing. We witnessed history unfold before our eyes. We're living in an era blessed with greatness, from Floyd Mayweather to Terence Crawford himself. As Crawford said after the fight, the torch was passed from Floyd Mayweather to Andre Ward, and now it's me. It's my era. And he wasn't lying. This is his time. Now, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Remember what so many of those so-called race fans were saying before the fight? They kept chanting, "No excuses. No excuses." Well, let's see how many of them stick to that now. Because Terence Crawford just did something absolutely superhuman. At 38 years old, he jumped all the way from welterweight to face a younger, bigger, stronger Canelo Alvarez, and he beat him clean. And let's not forget, Jermall Charlo, who was actually bigger than Crawford, tried to make that same move up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, and he failed. Crawford, meanwhile, didn't just survive, he dominated. That's what makes Crawford's achievement even more incredible. So many fans were saying, if Jermall Charlo couldn't do it, and he's taller, bigger, and naturally stronger than Crawford, then how on earth is Terence going to pull it off? But what we just saw was something straight out of a movie, the true underdog story. David taking down Goliath. Now, at first, I was ready to give Canelo a lot of credit just for stepping into the ring with Terence Crawford. But once I learnt he was getting $150 million for this fight, my perspective changed. Of course Canelo took the fight, why wouldn't he? You're fighting a man coming up 3 weight classes, someone much smaller than you, and you're getting a massive payday in return. That's not exactly a huge risk for someone like Canelo, who already had 2 losses on his record. It's not like he had an undefeated legacy to protect. But what he didn't expect was that this would turn into the most humiliating defeat of his career. ChatGPT said, because remember, Terence Crawford was fighting at a huge disadvantage. Yet even with that handicap, he managed to beat Canelo Alvarez at his own game. Everyone assumed Crawford would need to move constantly, stay on the outside, and rely on his speed to win. But he completely flipped that narrative. He stood his ground, traded shots, and proved he could dominate Canelo inside his own comfort zone. It was truly unbelievable, a spectacular performance from start to finish. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video here, but trust me, I've got plenty more coming, and we'll be diving even deeper into this historic fight. So stay tuned, I'll catch you all in the next one.